Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Flow Dev Jam. We're going to wait a couple minutes for people to join. As we wait, I might go off camera and put on a more appropriate attire, a bit more flowy attire. So I'll be right back. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Okay.
Bing bong. Nice raven.
Ben?
Oh no, it's just a raven that's commenting.
Oh, nice. That's better, isn't it?
Wow, that looks great. Why like will I get one?
Well, you're an ambassador, so I think we are sending out some swag.
Oh yeah, nice. When is that? Do you know?
I don't know. You have to check with Amber or Amy.
I see. Okay.
It should be pretty soon, I think.
Looking forward to see it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I could also put on a flow hat, but maybe is that too much?
No, not at all. If you even have like a flow mask, like that would also be great.
Oh, a flow mask, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Ready to get started?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
All right.
Is there any intro?
Yeah, so let's officially start the Dev Jam now. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. This is being recorded, so if you have to drop early or you're joining late, there's going to be a recording. This Dev Jam is dedicated or is going to be with BZ. BZ is a longtime Flow community member, creator of Basic Beasts. BZ, do you want to take some time to introduce yourself? Tell everyone, how you joined Flow, how long you've been building on Flow, and then we'll use the rest of the time. It's going to be more or less 45 minutes, and we're going to dive deep into your dev history, your learnings as you built Basic Beasts, and any other tips that you found along the way.
Yep, will do. So I'll just start everything by sharing my screen. Can you see it right now?
Yes, we
Great.
can.
Okay.
I will make and forgive me if I say this, BZ, but one thing I always found fascinating about BZ is that he is a truly mysterious character. So you won't see him on video. You will see his memoji in the bottom left. I did have the fortune to meet BZ in person at NFT NYC, but yeah, that's all I'll say. So BZ, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Andrea. But yeah, so hey everyone, like I'm BC, and yeah, I'm really happy to be able to share like some of the things that I learned while building on Flow blockchain. And yeah, today is going to be about Basic Beast, the project that me and my little brother started for more than a year ago. So basically the story is that in 2021, I knew that I wanted to like create games, and it has to be like with NFTs. And I had like this list of around 15 different layer 1 and layer 2 solutions. And like ultimately I ended up like going with Flow. And so I had to learn how to build like smart contracts on Flow, right? And also just building web applications in general. So I started going through like a fast forward course where you could learn about smart contracts. That's where I met people like Jacob Tucker and other really, really smart people in the Flow ecosystem. And I ended up going to attending this Mercury Hackathon that was hosted by Flow and Filecoin and Decentology. So during that time, I was actually like working on 3D Unity gaming, trying to build something for Web3 and gaming on chain. But that like creating like 3D stuff takes time. Like I just knew that I couldn't have that ready for the hackathon. So I needed like some idea I could like launch fast. And luckily, like when I showed my little brother NFTs, he basically came up with the idea of, creating Pokemon inspired collectibles, NFTs, as soon as like he understood the concept of what NFTs were. Because in the beginning, just like most people, he didn't understand why people would pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars on monkey images. But as soon as like I started comparing it to like his Fortnite skins, he started to like realize the actual value of NFTs and digital items. So that was like how we basically started Basic Beast, like a simple idea from a 10-year-old. Like, and that's where like I knew there was something special, that even like a 10-year-old could like understand one of the greatest collectibles items, which is Pokemon. So I got really excited about that. And we ended up actually winning the Mercury Hackathon by launching the like MVP within just 9 days with a working NFT contract sent to deployment and a front end that could accept payments. So we had a bunch of ideas, like we wanted to have skins, evolution, breeding, and unpacking experience. So the question was like, how are we going to build that with such a small team, right? I'm basically the only developer in the team. And we had these problems, like, are we going to do this fully on chain? Are we going to have it mostly off chain? Are we going to do a hybrid thing? Because we wanted to build something cool like NBA Top Shot. And initially we actually built a hybrid system with a backend. So because we saw like a lot of things from CryptoKitties and NBA Top Shot was done off chain. So we thought, well, maybe we should do it like that, right? I didn't realize that usually you have a development team with a bunch of developers. Some people work on smart contracts only, some work on only front end, and some work on back end. And I was like trying to do all these stuff with basically no experience.
Back end is hard.
Yeah, it is. So,
and front end is hard too. It has a lot of complexity and moving parts. So I can definitely understand why it's a lot for one person to take on.
Yeah, and I learned that the hard way. Like, we built out like an unpacking experience with a backend. It ended up being glitchy, so sometimes the beast would move. Like, it was all in a database level because our NFT contract was still under review. So we just thought we're going to mint them later because we saw other projects do it on Ethereum, so it was fine. And we were just transparent about it. But yeah, we saw the unpacking experience was glitchy. Some people would have other people's bees suddenly. And I just knew, even if I fixed this problem, well, eventually when we build out more features, there are going to be bugs there. So I would have to fix, super difficult. So we ended up going fully on chain. So that was like a big step. But that meant, well, we have a bunch of smart contracts, a bunch of NFT templates we need to manage. So we needed to create an admin dashboard. Another issue with Flow blockchain, which is important for basically everyone to know when they build on Flow, is that you can't airdrop NFTs or tokens just like that on wallets. They have to set up like a collection or a vault. So we need a way to like work around that. So we created an inbox system that will allow us to do airdrops. So that's what I'm going to demo right now.
Just right before you start. Hello, everyone that's joined since I did the intro. One thing I forgot to mention is if you have any questions, please use the Q&A functionality. And I see that also someone raised their hands. It might have been accidentally. But I think it was Sergey who accidentally raised his hand. If you want to ask a question live, then raise your hand and I can promote you to be able to speak. So otherwise, feel free to use the written Q&A functionality. With that, BZ, hand it back over to you. Walk us through the demo.
Awesome. And just so people can see. I hope they can see this link. In case anyone wants to like doing the demo, I'll be sending out like testnet packs. So if you want to like drop off your testnet wallet, you can just like go to the link, connect your wallet, and like copy and paste your wallet address from testnet to the questions. And I'll also send you some packs like doing the like live demo right now. But yeah, so let's go through what we're going to like go through today. And that's like the admin dashboard, like the things that our users don't see, because just like NBA Top Shot, the question was like, well, how does NBA Top Shot maybe create all these moments, right? So how are we going to create all these NFT templates? I spoke with Biatek like in the like early days, like a year ago, asking him how does Versus do it, and he basically just told me that they use a terminal to do everything. And I was like, a terminal like this thing to manage all that stuff? Like, don't they get like bugs? And Biatek told me, yeah, they did some missed typos here and there. I was like, well, isn't that terrible? Like, he was like, well, some people like it, and the others we could just remake the NFT. And I was like, you just don't do. I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't comfortable with that.
Yeah, this is a very nice looking dashboard, by the way. Looks
Thank
very
you.
pro.
Yeah, it was designed by Willie Blue, like my partner and designer of Basic Beast. So, and yeah, you met her. So I just knew that, well, I can't do all this in the terminal. I need some way to manage all these. Like, we knew that when we have 151 beasts, we're going to have 5 different type of skins for each of them, right? Like just like this, right? Something like this. And well, I need to manage that. I need to know, which one have been created and stuff like that.
So maybe explain a little bit what you mean by NFT template.
Yeah.
So is it like the base beast, which can then have multiple colors, attributes, and
Yeah. So what is a template? Well, if we actually look at it, it's basically it was inspired by NBA Top Shot. A template basically means that it's basically.
Can you also zoom in if you do Command plus?
Yeah. Sure.
Perfect. Yeah, that's better. Perfect.
Great. So what is a template? It's inspired by NBA Top Shot. They basically have like, when they create moments, they have something called a play, which is their template. And so you can have like a beast that's, let's say, a struct. It has a bunch of data. This is basically like one template, right? Dabby, a normal skin. This metallic silver Dabby is another template. So we have different templates like that. And then the question is like, how many are we allowed to mint of these templates? We also specify like how much the admin from here is allowed to mint. And that's the template. So we create the templates first, and then we are able to mint the actual NFTs, which contains, like, we refer to which template it is. Or we actually put the whole, like, we create an instance of the template and put that in as the NFT. Yeah, like Raven. Andrea would be like, what is contract browser? Yeah, so normally the way, like, just to show, so in case people don't know, today the way one should discover flow contract is just go to contractbrowser.com, write beast, and you can find like the basic beast NFT contract, and then find it at like flow view source. This is actually a really great tool, Andrea.
Well, you can also scroll down, there's a code there as well.
Yeah, that's also okay. I actually didn't know that. I just used this part.
And you can see what contracts use the basic beast contract, which if you're only using your own contract may not be interesting, but if you're using a contract that you hope other people will use, it's a good way to keep track of, how many people are composing on top of yours.
Yeah.
But feel free to use FlowView source. Don't worry.
All right. But yeah, so what am I going to do now? Well, I know that this on testnet, this template beast hasn't been created yet. So I might as well just create the template now. And here we see all the data. Meanwhile,
yeah. BZ, one question from Urine.
Yeah.
I always forget how to pronounce it.
Is how I
Your own. So he asks, before you started building basic beasts, what's been your experience on front end and back end coding?
Yeah. So the thing with me is that I actually didn't know anything about front end or back end coding. So I was really, really lucky that in Web3, people are super helpful. Like you get answers super fast on Flow, Discord, anything. So you can actually start as a beginner with no like real coding experience. And yeah, build stuff. And yeah, that's why I'm really excited to share all this and why I know that, yeah, hopefully some people will get something out of it. But yeah, that's
Sweet.
basically it. Yeah, so what I just did was that I created a template. And if you noticed, I didn't like, there wasn't like a pop-up with the transaction, like it wasn't with Block2 or anything. And that's because I used an admin account where
Right.
I just
So
have
it's
to
all
have,
being signed in the back end.
yeah, or like a front end actually. This is a front end thing
Right.
only.
But it has your keys in it. So
Yeah, it has my keys in it. So it's only like locally, right, that I use it. But it's open source, so people can like, yeah, do something similar.
Nice.
And yeah, so now that I've created that, well, we can also probably see it. Where is it? Yeah, right here. And zeros has been minted. So what I'm going to do now is that, let's say that I want to like give myself a pack that actually contains this beast. The way I normally do this then, well, the question was like, well, I didn't want to spend a lot of time building a backend for it. I realized that because I had like another problem, the randomization, how are we going to do that? And basically it's being done off chain with CryptoKitties and NBA Top Shot. So I thought, well, I can just be the backend then. I'll do it like with a spreadsheet and just run a randomization like function there. So that's actually how I usually do it. And I end up just getting a list that just randomizes all the beast IDs and stuff like that. It ends up being something like this, right? Where I have like my own address or the user address, the stock number, the pack template ID, and the beast ID, and that like gets randomized. And I basically just download a CSV because I need to turn the CSV to a JSON. I input it like this because I don't have like a converter. And then I copy this part. And then I go to my local like code, right? And I go to, let's say, the batch. Where is the batch? Here it is. And I just paste this in. Because what ends up happening now, this batch file is connected with the admin dashboard, right? So I can go to pack preparation. I want to mint a pack, and there we have it. This is the line that I just made in the sheet, right? So just that fast, I can just like mint a pack. So while it's doing that, like on the testnet, afterwards, when that has been sealed, I'll go to the pack distribution. I'll just distribute the pack. So one thing, I just like minted the pack, minted the beast, minted fungible tokens to it. And now I'm distributing the pack to the address. And what ends up happening is that if I go to my own, like, I'm already connected on the basic B side. I go to the inbox, I can see, oh, that's my pack, right? If I went to my collection, like my collection page with my packs, I can see I have these types of packs right now, but I'll just claim. And this is the part where we have created this inbox system.
Right.
What it
so
does,
even if I don't have a collection and someone gifts me or I get an airdrop for a pack, I can claim it even if I don't have a basic beast account yet.
Exactly. And that's the important thing, because that's how we like work around certain issues around like, building a flow, which is you can't airdrop stuff. There's also another problem with just the storage. People need to have like enough like flow tokens in their wallets. the good thing about an inbox system is that people can like claim it whenever they are ready for it, right?
Yeah.
So in these transactions, we basically like set up all the things that you need. And yeah, after that has been sealed, I'll just go to my collection. Let's see.
While you do that, I know that I think Austin from Floaty created a Lost and Found. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I remember Bjartik actually also sent it to me once.
Yeah.
I think Lost and Found is a little bit more complicated than the inbox contract.
Because it's like a general purpose one, right? That
Yeah, general, like always, like when it's a general purpose, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to understand and read.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you see like the inbox contract, right, it's like 133 lines. And mostly it's just one important function, which is like, claim the mail, and an admin, like, or anyone can actually create a centralized inbox that people can use. And then we just like map it to addresses and how many packs are in their inbox. So yeah. And now we see, well, now we have a starter pack. And if we go there, we can reveal it. That's the unpacking experience on chain. What you'll notice is that as soon as I approve this, before the transaction even seals, we already know like which piece you got. So how do we know that? Well, in Cadence, you're not able to do that. It's like hidden. But when you get like a pack NFT, like, or any object basically that your front end reads, it's actually able to read all the information. So we use that information to our advantage to just give like really fast like user feedback. So they don't have to wait for like the transaction to seal. We just assume that everything goes well. If it didn't go well, then they'll have to unpack once more when they're able to. But that's something that was quite important when building basic bees. Like, how can we make it as like seamless as possible? And yeah, there we go. Now we have like a new beast that has like been unpacked. It has been created. It came onto my Dexicon. So
wow.
like expanded my collection, right? So yeah, this is of course inspired by Pokemon, like the Pokédex. And we even have like a hunter score that also increased. I got like 10 more points. So I can like compare it with like the other people in the community. I can look at their collections. Yeah. So that was the part I wanted to show. Like, how does an admin manage NFT templates, mint the NFTs, airdrop the NFTs? And yeah, this.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting to kind of cover here, you kind of showed it, which is when you're an indie developer / solo developer and may not have, you need to prioritize what you focus on, right?
Right.
And so you were showing how you use Excel, and then you use a JSON converter. And someone might say, well, why don't you automate it? Why don't you create a tool for that? Why don't you, add functionality in your admin dashboard to do this in code? And the issue there is to get the same result, it's probably going to take you so much more time to automate than it is to actually do it, at least currently, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So finding that balance of what you create versus what you just do because it's faster to do, and then obviously you need to have rules for yourself. Like if you see that it starts taking too much time, that's when you invest time to automate it.
If something is very repetitive, you should start to like look into automating it. Or if you have to like give that task over to someone else, like it's basically just like a balance that way. I think Airbnb they have like a very nice startup saying, like, do things that don't scale. And it also applies here just in terms of speed, that you want to launch something fast to like, if we didn't launch Basic Beast a year ago, we wouldn't have reached where we are today. Because launching today, right, it's a totally different market. So we wouldn't have met all our friends, all the people who like supported us learning. So that's why, like, well, how did we launch? Well, we had a bunch of challenges early on because we couldn't even deploy permissionlessly on Flow blockchain, right? So we had to like just send it to review and figure things out like on the way. But
which is possible now. Now we do have permissionless
it's possible now,
deployment.
though. So. Important to like say that.
But yeah, it was still early days back then, and so it definitely added a little bit to the challenge. And yeah, so like what's the current status with Basic Beasts? What are the plans for the future? Oh, I see you have a couple more slides, so I'll let you go through them.
Yeah. First. Yeah, so I just wanted to like say like, well, if I were to reflect today about some of the things that we have done, right? Like the things I've shown today, improvements, well, the inbox transaction should actually fund the wallet, because we do see, like, we don't have a backend, right? We don't know when people fail their transactions and stuff like that. We just hear it from the Discord. So we do see that a key problem is when they don't have enough flow tokens, and I have to manually send them like 0.1 flow tokens, and they can like claim their packs in order to like, have enough storage. So what I would do there is actually create another smart contract and just put some flow in there and like map it to addresses. So if they don't have enough storage, they can like claim a few flow tokens and they can like, claim their packs. Another thing I would do is that I would remove the inbox totally from the front end and just show the packs, because the way I've coded it now compared to then, I'm able to actually see from the inbox which packs are available. So instead of having that extra step with the inbox, I would actually just remove that and show like the packs here, because they won't, like, the user won't like know whether they have claimed from my inbox or whether it's actually in their like account. And another thing is like randomizations should be on chain. Like one thing is that I do it right on a sheet, or you have a backend off chain. The problem is that it can never fully be trusted. It's what I like about on chain is that it's fully transparent. You can really prove if no one is cheating and stuff like that. So building out something for that is something that, I would do to extend it. And if there's some like stuff that I need to scale, right? You saw how I converted like a CSV to JSON. Maybe scale it with a backend. But that's improvements for what I've shown today. For Basic Beast, like future-wise, we have like we have a bunch of stuff that we have built out already, like profile pages, leaderboards. The profile pages are like we really take advantage of the composability on Flow blockchain. So if you see this, like we're using .find, right? People who like connect a wallet, they're able to create basically a .find username, so they can like give an identity for free.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah, all right.
It's pretty cool. So wait, so if I use Basic Beasts, I can register a .find username.
Exactly. And that's fully on chain, right? Like I didn't to ask Beatic for permission to do that, because Beatic, he open sourced his code. It was just quite easy to like have that.
But you still need 5 FUSD, right?
No, this is a username, so that's not a .find name.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. The .find, profile username. Got it.
Yeah. So if you like, the difference is that like this is not a .find name; it's a username, so it can be duplicated. This below here is a .find name that's unique. It also like you can even go to your profile and just search. You can't do that with the username. That's how we do it. And I'm so grateful that Beatic did that, because now we have profile pages, right? Like I didn't need to like build that out. I was just like,
and it's a great story of composability, right?
Yeah,
as you were saying, like you are using the feature or functionality of an existing smart contract and using it for your own smart contract and building on top of it.
Right. And that's something that's quite unique for Flow blockchain. Like reading a Solidity contract, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't even trust it in most cases, like that it's safe enough. But like on Flow, it's quite easy to read cadence, like other people's smart contracts, and just understand them quite well. So that's why it was possible, and it didn't take me a lot of time at all. I think this was like less than a day to do that, and it even like stores the profile pictures, so it's even
It's
greater.
awesome.
I think Kugandor Jerome, he's asking, is the access to the Basic Beast admin based on NFTs as well? Did you understand what he means?
Yeah, I think I understand what he means. He's asking whether you're token gating access to the admin dashboard. I think what you mentioned it, but it's probably worth repeating. The admin dashboard is not published anywhere. It's running locally on
Yeah.
BZ's computer with his environment variables. It is
Yeah.
open source, right? But if you run it, you won't be able to access the admin dashboard. So it's probably just filtered based on keys.
Yeah, exactly. And how to do that? Well, yeah, that's for another dev jam, I think. Or like just send me an email to bc.vanity@gmail.com. Yeah, I'll actually send it. I'll
Yeah,
send
send
it
it to me.
to
I'll
you.
send it to
Just send me an
the
email
chat.
in case you need help. I'll be happy to help
Oops.
with any admin account issues, because that's actually not that known for a beginner. Like how does one do that, right? Thankfully, Jacob Tucker, which is also part of my slides, right? Like, please follow this guy, because he teaches you on YouTube how to manage an admin account, like the key, like having your private keys. You're not using Block2 or Dapper Wallet for it. You're basically creating your own wallet or account. And he also shows how to deploy an emulator to test, right? The testnet, mainnet. He's almost as good at like the Chat GPT.
Yeah, he's a bit like Chat GTP, or GPT, but with a bit more sass. You know, you never really know when he's going to offend you.
Yeah.
Cool. So you mentioned a little bit about what's coming with Basic Beasts.
Yeah.
Why don't we? I know you have another slide in your PowerPoint. I don't know if you wanted to cover it later.
I can do it later. That's fine.
Okay. I would say, what's been, if there's any new Flow developers here, right? Or if a up and coming Flow developer were to watch this video, let's say in a month or 2 months or 6 months, what would you recommend they focus on to start if they wanted to build something similar to Basic Beast?
That's a really good question. I would actually say, like, if they were to start and they have no programming experience, the number one go-to place to learn really, really fast is Ermal City, like, or Ermal Academy, actually. So if you could link that, Andrea, that would be great. Because what we do there at Ermal like City or Ermal Academy is that we teach how to write smart contracts. And after writing smart contracts is like one aspect, right? Like everything on chain. Another aspect is like, how do you build a web application, or maybe even like a mobile app? Because we are getting closer and closer to having like more stuff as mobile apps on chain. So that's the go-to to get started. From there, you'll learn smart contracts, that development, and that's all you need. Like, then from there, you just like keep, like, it's a learning curve, but after that, it's getting better. Other things, well, yeah, like I think like key takeaways that I had was just that, yeah, like Flow is amazing, Cadence is amazing, the community is amazing, right? That's the slide. Because why is Flow amazing? Like, if you think about it, like, it's the gas fees. There's basically no gas fees, especially because of the way Block2 works and Dapper Wallet. So the possibilities for like something like on-chain gaming and many other things that could be on-chain, where you can just store data, that's super cheap, and it's possible with Flow. and also quite secure. And then another thing is scalability. It's actually like Flow. I'm in more than 1.5 years that I've been working on Flow blockchain, the network has always been like up, except for like Sporks, but that's different. Then the network has never like just gone like crashed because of some big application like NBA Top Shot. Whereas when we see something like Ethereum with the Monkey Sport API Club, when they had to like launch a sale, no other project is allowed to do anything because the gas fees like is like
Crazy, yeah.
$1,000. It's like impossible
Well,
to use. Yeah.
fun fact, the reason why Flow exists is exactly because, well, not the reason, but one of the reasons why Flow exists is because CryptoKitties back in the day also crashed Ethereum.
Exactly.
Similar to when the Bored Ape Yacht Club did their land sale. So this is why Flow is architected the way it is. Scalability and being able to actually be used by a lot of people, right? Millions of people, billions of people even. So yeah, I mean, it's good that you're noticing this, because it is one of the very reasons why it was created. And you were also mentioning earlier about cadence, right? How it's pretty easy to read. How is it as a non-technical? Now you're technical, of course, because you've been coding for a while. But how was it for someone who wasn't super technical to read cadence contracts?
To read cadence contracts, it's definitely easier than Solidity, because 1 week before I learned Flow, like smart contract stuff like cadence, I knew that I wanted to learn from like the father of smart contracts, was basically like Ethereum, Solidity, and Solidity was like really terrible, and it was like scary because you knew that on Solidity, if you don't do something, if you omit writing some lines of code, your asset is insecure. On Cadence, that doesn't happen. Like the like when you write a line, most of the time, like regarding resources, because it's like a totally different paradigm. Yeah, it's so much safer, and you don't have to be super smart to do that. With Solidity, I've heard like teachers saying that we're doing examinations for blockchain engineering, and people have to like, they get an assignment, they have to find 5 bugs in this like Solidity code on Ethereum. Well, every year they find 10 bugs. So even like the smartest engineers in Solidity, they don't like, yeah, they even have a hard time like creating like safe and secure smart contracts. On Cadence, that's so different. Why that is, well, I actually don't know. Like, I guess they just like optimized it for developers, like for people to actually read.
That's exactly it.
And that's so awesome when you get to learn it, because it only takes, like, in my opinion, it just takes you 2 weeks. Like if you work full time on it, of course you can do it on your own pace, but if it's full time, it should be around like 2 weeks, and then you basically you should be able to read like most lines on Cadence, and yeah, and get started. So that's why Cadence is awesome. And the dev tools on Flow blockchain is also great, even though like there is some limitation with the playground. With all the dependencies we have today, metadata views, NFT, like all the standards, you end up using them all for the first like 4 accounts. So you only have to test like two of your own contracts. That's not possible on the playground anymore because of all the dependencies.
I think that's going to be addressed soon.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally resonate.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think one final thing that I wanted to like mention was that, yeah, Basic Beast is open source from day one. So you can find our smart contracts. Even the admin dashboard is in here. Our front end is here. You can always like ping me if you have questions to it, because I'll be happy to like, yeah, help others to build whatever web application they want. For Basic Beast in the future, I am working on our marketplace right now. Soon we are going to have some breeding. So we will actually have everything we need on chain. And I'm happy that it ended up being on chain, because that means that if I want to extend the functionality, I can do that on a mobile app and just read from the smart contracts, right? That has already been made. If you, Andrea, or anyone like in this call want to build something, you can also just interact with the smart contract without having to ask me for an API key or permission. So that's what I'm really excited about with building our flow. And like we're also working on a game, like a simulation game for mobile.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is that top secret, or do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, some of the things I can't like publish yet because like we're still like working on it, right? But mainly we're going to build it on Unity. We are going to focus on a way for just like what the whole Flow ecosystem wants, that we want to do, having some progressive user onboarding. So having this type of hybrid custodial thing where people just, they don't have to know what a wallet is. They don't need to like set up a wallet, run a bunch of transactions. They should just be able to use the email or the phone number to like play. And then later on, they can like receive the assets, like have some kind of way to like give the assets to the user afterwards, where they have gotten accustomed to it and they're ready to be like non-custodial and have wallets. It's kind of something like Reddit, right? That you can just like have these Reddit avatars and then later on you can like secure them for yourself. So that's what we really want to do. And we're pretty excited that the Dapper Labs team have already begun working on stuff with Unity and FCL. So yeah, let's see, like in this year.
Yeah, it definitely seems like you're focusing on all the core priorities that the community that we covered in the town hall, right? At the end of the year, definitely mobile, progressive user onboarding. So that's great. And I think it's one of the things that will help Flow become more widely adopted as well, right? Like if apps are able to welcome users without having users have to like absorb all of crypto before being able to use an app, right? Like, hey, I have to download a wallet, I have to have my keys, I have to remember my secret phrase. Like if that can be postponed to when it's actually needed and made as user-friendly as possible, it's going to make it so much easier for people to onboard to Web3 apps.
Exactly. So this is the slide from the town hall. That's one of my favorites, where it's so important, and people underestimate it a lot. But I think it's going to be the game-changing thing that makes the blockchain mainstream. And one important thing is also this is super difficult to do on Ethereum. Like,
yep.
You can't do this. Like there's some architectural, like the way it's structured is just not. Otherwise, Dapper Labs would have done it for like many years ago.
Yep. Again, this is why Flow exists. This is why Cadence exists. It wasn't made by chance. It was made as a result of a lot of brick walls that were hit when building on Ethereum and looking at potential alternatives. And Flow is what the result was. So it only makes sense that all of these things feel like, they feel like they're improvements because they are. That's what they were designed to be.
Yeah.
All right, BZ, I think we have 1 minute left. Any last minute questions for BZ? Feel free to use the Q&A functionality.
Otherwise, I think you can already share the float now. What I'll be doing.
Oh yeah.
For the people who shared, like who claims the float, if you claim it with Blockto, I recommend doing it with Blockto, because if it's with Dapper Wallet, it's going to take some time. But I'm going to raffle some basic beast packs, like 5 winners among the ones who claim the float. But it's best that you use your Blockto wallet, since we still haven't like launched on Dapper Wallet. But if you end up like launching it on that wallet, that's also fine. It'll just take some time before you can claim your pack.
So Lamford asks, Next.js or Svelte, I think we all know the answer to that.
Oh, yeah. That should be recorded. It's definitely Next.js, but I don't understand why Andrea he missed. Yeah, he missed.
I think Lamford was asking, what should it be? And the answer is Svelte.
Yeah.
No. So for those of you who don't know, BZ and I have a long time rivalry between Next.js and Svelte. And yeah. He's a Next.js fan. I'm a Svelte fan.
Even during NFT NYC, yeah, we would talk about like Next.js and Svelte, I think, but I can't remember for sure.
Probably it's been going on since we met each other. Probably.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, BZ. Thank you, everyone. Make sure you claim your float. It's in the chat. And BZ, you will raffle off a float, or sorry, you will raffle off some Basic Beasts pack to people who claim the float, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Make sure you click the link, because as soon as we end this webinar, you might not be able to click the link anymore. So save the link that I shared in the chat to claim your float for attending this specific Dev Jam. And BZ, if you claim it, all the addresses that claim this float will be eligible for a raffle that BZ is going to do. Again, composability for the win, right? Using float claims as entries for your raffle.
Float is really great. Like I used it for a treasure hunt, so it was so great to just build on top of it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. Thank you so much, BZ, for taking the time to walk us through Basic Beasts, your journey as a Flow developer, and all the plans you have ahead. I hope this won't be the only time we'll be talking during a Dev Jam. Maybe you can come back once you have some more things to share. And all the best in your building journey.
Thanks, Andrea, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let me just see one last open question. Thanks, friends. You're welcome, Parim. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.